The movie begins with a lady named Mallory talking to her kids. The children look really frightened because their house is all covered up. Every window, door, and space is sealed off. Mallory doesn't want her kids to see what's outside, so she blindfolds them, making sure they can't peek. She has a box with birds in it, and these birds can detect a dangerous creature. Mallory has a rope set up in front of her house, leading to a boat by a string. The three of them get in the boat with their eyes shut. Mallory rows the boat following the water's flow. The scene shifts to 3 years ago when Mallory, an artist about to have a baby, mostly stays at home. While painting, her friend urges her to watch the news about a virus causing people to attempt suicide. Mallory thinks it might be a natural thing, ignoring the seriousness. Later, at the doctor's, she learns her baby is healthy. Outside, she witnesses a woman harming herself, making Mallory uneasy. In the car with her friend, they notice the virus spreading, causing people to harm themselves in various ways. On their way home, Mallory's friend sees something strange, and her behavior changes drastically. In a tragic accident, she takes her own life. Mallory, devastated, witnesses her best friend's death. A seemingly kind woman invites her inside, but even she turns out to be affected by the virus, meeting a fiery end. Later on, a boy named Tom appears and guides Mallory to a safe house with other people. He instructs everyone to seal all doors and windows, urging them to keep their eyes covered to avoid seeing the outside world. Meanwhile, another pregnant woman, visibly distressed, is introduced. The movie then returns to the present day, 1 day after Mallory's departure. She has gathered essential items and food. Mallory communicates with her children by covering her face with a sheet when necessary, speaking gently after removing her blindfold. Suddenly, they hear a man's voice, and his unsettling appearance makes them uneasy. He insists they uncover their eyes, but Mallory senses danger. She shoots at the voice, and when he tries to untie her blindfold, she fatally stabs him. The group continues their journey. The story flashes back to a scene in the house, a month after Mallory arrived. With many people in the house, food becomes scarce, and they worry about survival. To address the shortage, they consider using CCTV cameras outside the house to safely navigate and retrieve supplies. The house owner volunteers to try it first, and they tie him to a chair before going outside. Watching the CCTV footage, he initially sees nothing, but as his facial expressions change, it becomes evident he has encountered the deadly creature. He attempts suicide by hitting his head on the ground. The group realizes that the creature poses a threat both when seen directly and through cameras. Despite the danger, they need to venture outside for food. They prepare by covering the car's back camera, sealing all windows, and using GPS. Although they must uncover their eyes to navigate, the challenge is to find a way to go outside without directly seeing the creature. After successfully gathering supplies from the grocery store, enough to sustain them for several days, the group returns home. However, a boy and a girl, eager to contribute, decide to go to the store in a car on their own. As they settle back at home, a man starts banging on their door, pleading to be allowed inside. Most want to help him, except for an elderly man who suspects he might be infected. Despite the skepticism, they let the man in. He explains that he used to live in a house captured by people from a mental hospital. These individuals, being mentally unstable, were immune to the effects of the creature outside. They convinced others to remove their blindfolds, leading to mass suicides. Feeling compassion, they decide to let him stay. As Mallory and the other woman prepare to give birth, they are taken to the upper floor for safety. However, the outsider, exhibiting strange behavior and having a history as a mental hospital patient, stays on the ground floor. Exploiting the situation, he starts opening doors and windows. Eventually, he makes his way upstairs, shocking everyone. Mallory has a son, while the other woman has a daughter. The outsider opens the window in their room, causing disbelief among the group. An old lady tries to intervene, but the intruder forces her to see the outside, risking everyone's safety. As the old lady sees the outside, she takes her own life. Simultaneously, the woman who gave birth to a daughter also succumbs to the same fate. The intruder then turns towards Mallory with lethal intent, but just in the nick of time, Tom intervenes. Tom manages to eliminate the threat, leaving only him, Mallory, and the two children in the house. Tom and Mallory assume the role of parents, taking utmost care of the children and cautioning them not to remove their blindfolds. They use a rope tied to their house, ensuring they can find their way back easily. Despite the ongoing danger from the mental hospital escapees who still seek to harm them, Tom and Mallory navigate the perilous situation, occasionally venturing out to other houses for food using the safety of the rope. 5 years pass, and one day they hear the voice of a mental patient outside, managing to escape the threat. They then hear a broadcast on the radio from someone claiming to have plenty of food and offering help. Tom, using a map, plans to reach the location by following a stream with a boat he constructs. Mallory, however, is skeptical, suspecting it might be a trick by the mental hospital escapees. She questions why anyone would want to help them when they themselves are struggling for food. Despite her doubts, Tom and Mallory, in need of food and medicine, decide to venture outside. Along the way, they encounter the mental people who try to stop them. Tom fights to protect Mallory, urging her to take the children to the boat if he doesn't return in a few minutes. He instructs her to head to the specified location if she finds the people mentioned on the radio. In a fierce confrontation, Tom battles the mental people. During the struggle, they manage to untie Tom's blindfold, but he skillfully fights back and shoots them. Unfortunately, the creature arrives and Tom, glancing at it accidentally, undergoes a dreadful transformation. Overcome with despair, he takes his own life, leaving the sorrowful scene behind. Cut to Mallory, waiting anxiously for Tom's return. The scene echoes the beginning, with the woman explaining the situation to her children. They embark on a journey down the river, encountering the man who previously tried to harm them. Despite his eyes being exposed, he is still alive. The arduous journey continues for 2 days, with diminishing food supplies. Suddenly, a storm strikes, intensifying the dangers of the water. Consulting the map, Mallory realizes they are close to their destination, but navigating through the turbulent area is perilous. As the boat capsizes in the fast-flowing water, the children fall in. Mallory, guided by their voices, rescues them and gets back on track. The trio finds themselves in a forest, where Mallory follows the sounds of birds, guided by the man's earlier claim of having many birds. However, they also start hearing the unsettling sounds of the creatures. Mallory, fearing for their safety, runs away and falls, temporarily losing sight of her children. After locating them, they press on. The journey proves exceptionally challenging for the trio. Finally, they reach a door, and Mallory knocks. They are cautiously invited inside, where their mental state is scrutinized. Blindfolds are removed, and their eyes are examined to ensure their well-being. They are welcomed inside, and to Mallory's surprise, she finds a community of sighted individuals. The place is revealed to be a blind school, where people have created a haven for themselves by relying on their inability to see. Within the school, there are trees, plants, and a sense of safety. Mallory's children, seeing others like them for the first time, and the presence of nature, are overjoyed. Mallory and her children decide to make this place their new home, finding refuge and survival within the blind school's protective walls.